Now we've got a Monday night football to look forward to, which means that earlier I headed down to the studio to catch up with Jamie Carragher. Of course, I had to ask him about the headline-making comments from Ruben Amorim yesterday. What a weekend in the Premier League. Absolutely fantastic. Jamie Carragher is going to talk us through it all. Jamie, we've got to start with Manchester United. Amorim says they're the worst United team in history. Are they?
Well, I don't know Manchester United's history as well as Gary Neville, but I must say I think it was one of the most bizarre and ridiculous things I've ever heard a manager say. I mean, why you would make a comment like that? That's the type of comment a pundit would make, someone in my position, and he'd have to defend that in some ways. But I don't know what he gains from that, what the benefit is. That we all know it's a poor Manchester United team. And in some ways, we're talking about Manchester United today. We'll probably cover them on the show later because of what the manager said. Because before that, they'd lost another game at home to Brighton. They've done that in the last couple of years anyway. We know it's a tough season. We know it's a poor team. He's just blew something up that will be a quote that will follow him for the rest of the season. And when he said that, I think he said to the journalist there, waiting, I've given you a headline. Why you would want to do that as a manager, I will never know.
Take us inside the dressing room. You're a Manchester United player and you hear your manager say you're in the worst team in your club's history. What does that do to you?
Well, it certainly doesn't help you confidence-wise, going forward, or maybe belief-wise, And listen, I've got not much sympathy for the players in that Manchester United dressing room. I mean, they've been a joke for a few years now. And then I think a few weeks ago, after they played Liverpool, there was an interview with Lisandro Martinez where he was talking about the mentality and tapping his head. That was different today. I mean, I nearly burst out laughing when I saw that, to be honest. The amount of times Manchester United have basically threw the towel in or had bad performances over the last 4 to 5 years. So I've got not much sympathy in the dressing room for the players. But what I would say is, from the manager's point of view, how can he then go into the dressing room between now and the end of the season and continually try and sort of build them up and give them belief in a team that they can go and beat the opposition, whoever they come up against, if he's said they are the worst team in Manchester United history, or certainly one of them. So at no point can I see what he's going to gain from that.
Do they have to go into the market, get rid of a number of players they've got and bring in players who can play in his system?
Yes, they have to do that, but that's in the summer. I don't think he's going to be able to get the players he wants in January. We know it's a tough market, whether to sell players or bring players in. I think it's doubly difficult this season because of the European competitions have gone into January. So I think if I'm Manchester United, I'd almost be keeping my powder dry for the summer. There's going to be a lot more movement. You can get players who you want in, then get players out as well. So what you don't want to do is end up spending money, and then it comes to the summer and you think these players aren't actually good enough to improve this team or the system. But they're going to have to go through a lot of pain. I think the manager knows that. We all know that. And we accept that. I don't think there's too much mounting criticism around the manager. Had a few good results of late, away from home at Arsenal in the FA Cup and Liverpool in the Premier League. We know it's going to be a roller coaster because the players are not good enough. They've shown that with different managers and with different systems. But I can't get away from the quote that he said. I just do not believe that was in his best interest at all.
Let's talk title race, Jamie. It feels like a pivotal weekend, this one. Liverpool found a way to win. Darwin, Nunes with the winners. Has he done enough to stay at the club, do you think?
No, not really. Maybe right now, but I wouldn't imagine that he'd be at the club next season. I don't know. I'm not privy to those conversations. But listen, when you spend that type of money on a striker and he's not first choice, he's probably third choice, I would imagine now. It looks like, Jota, when he's fit, and Luis Diaz as well will probably get picked before him at the top end of the pitch. And that probably just shows it hasn't got as well as he would have liked and Liverpool would have liked, really. But he has got a brilliant record coming from the bench. I think since he joined the club, he's got more goals and assists than anybody in the Premier League from the bench. So maybe that's his role from now to the end of the season. That can help Liverpool get over the line.
Liverpool found a way to win, as I said. Arsenal found a way not to. Have they messed around so much and not reinforced when they should have done that they've actually blown their chances?
They haven't completely blown the chances. I still think Liverpool are still in range for them. They'll feel like if they put a great run together like they did last season, that they could reel Liverpool in. The problem is, at no stage this season have you felt like you were watching a title-winning team. Certainly something that we saw last season. Now, I know Arsenal's points figure's not too far away from where they were last season. And then they went on an unbelievable run, I think, in the last 18 games of winning 16, drawing 1 and losing 1. They will have to go on a similar record, I think, to win the title.
Do Arsenal need a forward?
Yes, and it's not necessarily a guy through the middle. It could be someone on the left. I think the short. I've always felt that, and I know there's a lot of talk, and Mikel Arteta's talking right now that they need help in January, and that's because of the injuries that they got, and I totally agree with that. But you do have to look at the decision in the summer to not bring another attacking player in and bring in Moreno in midfield, who I'm not quite sure what he actually offers to this Arsenal team, which they didn't already have. You know, at times Declan Rice plays in that position, big, powerful, number 8 on that left side. Kai Havertz can play that position as well, so I'm not sure how different he is to them. I don't think he's added too much really to the team, but they definitely lack a spark of creativity between the lines. That's something we're going to look at as well with Arsenal tonight. You know, down that left side, is Martinelli and Trossard good enough? I mean, Trossard was outstanding at the weekend and setting up 2 goals, but we all know the short in that area. But can you get the quality that you need that to get Arsenal back in to, well, not sort of back in the race, I would say, to win the race? You know, it is the season where it feels like they have to win the race, because I think supporters there are getting very agitated.
Yes, here we are again in the Monday Night Football studio with Jamie. Jamie, we're going to get straight into Tottenham Hotspur. They're in a dreadful run of form, lost 7 of their last 9. Could they get relegated?
No, they won't get relegated. They've got too many points on the board right now ahead of the other teams. And listen, there's definitely 3 poorer teams in this Premier League than Tottenham. But that's no real sort of mitigation or excuse to say, OK, you know, don't worry, we're not going to get relegated. Where Tottenham are right now, that is not acceptable for a club of, you know, their size and the money that they spend.
When Mourinho got sacked, they were in 7th. When Conte got sacked, they were in 4th. They're in 15th at the moment. Will Postecoglou survive?
I think he will for now, and I think he should. I just think if you're Tottenham and Daniel Levy, and this is carrying on, there's no doubt that there is mitigating circumstances with the injuries. They've got a lot of players out. I think you're allowing to get his players back. Allow them then to say, well, OK, what are you going to show me second half of the season? I think the European competition is massive. It really is. And, of course, the Carabao Cup semi-final, they're in a decent position against Liverpool there, but I think most people would expect Liverpool to get through to the final. They've got a tough game away at Aston Villa. I think you see how these cup competitions go. They're not going to go down. They're not going to qualify for Europe through the league position. And also, if you change the manager, what manager that you want is out there and available right now. You'd probably have to wait till the summer anyway, maybe get someone who's in a job. So I think you might as well keep the guy who's there now. He's got a certain way of playing. It's entertaining. The supporters aren't completely against the manager. I think it's more against the chairman. So, I'd keep him in situ and let him get his players back and then see what Tottenham do the second half of the season. But I think he'd have a lot to do second half of the season to be there next season.
I want to talk Erling Haaland's contract, his massive contract. What does that do for the club?
Well, it's a guarantee for the next 9-10 years that they're going to have possibly the top goal scorer in the Premier League, and you'd probably argue probably 6 or 7 of those seasons. He's just a goal machine. He is, even in a poor season. I think he's still one of the top goal scorers in the Premier League. We debate and analyse, does he bring enough to the team in different ways, but there's not many absolute nailed-on, world-class goal scorers around the world now. You know, Liverpool are looking for one. Arsenal are not happy with their situation as well. Manchester United needs a great centre-forward. So what they've done is almost guaranteed they've got a great centre-forward for the next decade or so, and that's not something many teams can say. Yeah.
So, City got up to 4th at the weekend. Chelsea play this evening on the Monday Night Football. Should be a good one. What are you expecting?
Well, you'd expect Chelsea to win, but that's been the case in these last few weeks, and they've dropped points. I think a late equaliser from Reece James the last time they were playing at home as well. So it's fell off the rails a little bit, and I don't think Chelsea ever expected to win the title this season, and the manager said that. And I don't always agree with managers coming out publicly saying, oh, we're not ready for the title. I wouldn't want my manager to say that. But I think most people thought that. But I think it's getting to the stage now with these games and not winning where the hierarchy will be getting a little bit worried about Champions League football as well, especially with teams like Bournemouth coming, Manchester City coming back as well, Fulham having a good season, Nottingham Forest just keep winning. So it's not even a case of you competing against the teams you expect to be there. It looks like there's a situation where at least one team, not what you'd include in the top 6, who could actually get Champions League football. And if Chelsea were to miss out, considering the money that they've spent, changing Pochettino, bringing Maresca in, having a brilliant start to the season, I think they'll start getting a little bit twitchy and nervous, because it's imperative that they get Champions League football for next season.